Right here, those are the broccolinis. Look here, broccolini. Beautiful eating right there. Broccolini.
Wow, we're approaching the middle of May, and it kind of reminded me that it's almost been one full year since my dad left us. And I remember I've taken up gardening since then. Now, he taught me how to do gardening many, many years ago. And then I kind of rebelled against it because I knew that, well, when you do gardening, you have to take care of weeds, you have to do things, dig in the dirt. But it's become perhaps one of my greatest joy to be able to dig around in the dirt and to do some gardening. And last year, when my dad died, well, people respond differently and grieve differently. For me, I started building a greenhouse, and this is it. I started building this greenhouse here in my in my backyard, actually at home in Surrey, and build the whole thing. And then I asked my son Matthew. We took it all apart. I had already pre-planted all the different pieces, all the different stuff. Took it all apart, left a bunch of bigger sections together, and then loaded it all up on my pickup truck, which I had already built a special rack on the back of the truck so that we could put it all on. It's actually a pretty big greenhouse because I think it's about 13 by 13 or something. And there it is. It's all on that truck. And we packed it all up and we drove it all the way out to North Van. And here we are. We're now in my mom's backyard. And this is actually last year, at the end of the season of gardening last year. And we started putting it together. And it actually went together a lot quicker than I thought. Here comes my brother, and we kind of surprised him. And here's this thing going up right before our eyes. We're putting it together. It just took a few hours, maybe even less, and it kind of went together perfectly because I had already assembled it at my house. And part of the joy, and as I thought about doing this with my son Matthew, I was thinking, man, it would have been so nice to have done this with my dad. But we never had that opportunity, and the timing was different in our lives. But I got to do this with my son, and he was here kind of making my dream come true. And so, anyway, we reassembled this little thing, and here you go. Now it's all finished. We've got the plants growing in there. That's for this year's season. And we put things together. They're going kind of by very quickly. There's an old greenhouse in the back, and we're going to put, well, I'll show you. There's some English cucumbers are going to go in there. But so that's the old little greenhouse. And then these mounds here, we're putting in beans, and the ones that climb up quite a bit. And so my dear mom, so this way we planted some of her tomatoes. She's been growing these in the house, and then some of my relatives have also given us some tomatoes. And so these are outside. This is some of the lettuce. It's just getting big enough to put in the garden. This is actually, I mean, this is like we've done the front yard, the backyard. Those are some old broccolini that were growing there. I'll show you those in a minute. But here is 6 nice plants of English cucumber. My uncle Carmen gave those to my mom, and this is a zucchini plant, and all of those little pods they're gonna be beans growing in there, climbing bean plants, and we really love putting those. And right here, this always reminds me of my dad. It's our pear tree, and this pear tree, my dad spliced or grafted onto it 3 different kinds of pears, and we get pears. Here's some spinach that survived from last year. Planted our garlic. It's all coming up, and it's just happening right now. digging up the front garden, and there's some broccolinis in here. I'll show you that in a minute. There's not much happening here now. We're just sort of getting our garden in. I almost got it all planted. House. She's 86 years old, and she's still there watering and planting. And I just kind of, my brother and I, and we just want to try and get her garden planted so that she feels that not too much has changed. And well, there you go. This is, yeah.
Right here, those are the broccolinis. Okay. Broccolini. Beautiful eating right there. Broccolini.
Yeah, that's me digging up her garden. Well, thanks for joining us, and I'll be showing you some updates on this, and then you'll be able to see as the garden develops and it grows, and so thanks for joining us, and I'll update you on how our garden is working out, and even a little bit more about how our greenhouse is working out, and I suspect it'll be really useful in the fall because we'll extend our season by about a month or so, and I might even put a little bit of heat in there. Okay, well, God bless you guys, and always know that we plant the seeds, the Lord makes them grow. Amen.